Well, I was just walking around and someone dropped this in my hand. There is $100,000 worth of gold I'm holding in my hand right now. About 30 ounces. 30-ounce nugget.
That's something.
That is something else. Well, hello everyone, Dan Hurd with Dan Hurd Prospecting here. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome. I hope to earn your subscription today. I am here in Tucson, Arizona with my buddy Dave from Gold Bay. He sells pay dirt, sells gold, and he mines his own gold. And today, down in Tucson, he has a bunch of his gold set up for me to check out and get on video. So wish us luck, and I hope you enjoy.
Do you want to start with the case, or do you want to start with some handheld pieces? What do you want to do? And by the way, look, we've known each other for 15 years on YouTube, and we're both Southern British Columbia boys, so it's really freaking cool to meet you finally. Like, it's been a long time coming, and it was a random thing because I got out of bed at 5 o'clock this morning.
We just bumped into each other in another show, a long ways away from here, but it was great to bump into him. He invited me over, and now we get to see the real thing, the gold. The gold. And they just said we can pull some stuff out of the cabinet to have a real good look at the big stuff, nice and close. And Dave said he's got some special pieces hidden in behind just for me for today. And again, Dave from Gold Bay. If you want yourself some pay dirt, he's the guy to go to.
So this piece came out of the Mockingbird mine, which is right next to the Colorado Quartz mine, which Tony and I own. And the reason we're there is because of the absolute unique crystal structure and the luster. There's been nothing done to that gold. That's how bright it is naturally out of the ground. And there's only a few places on the planet that produce this kind of gold. The Mockingbird's one of them, but that's closed forever. Our mine, of course, the Colorado Quartz, the Eagle's Nest mine, and the Red Ledge. Those are really the 4 mines on the planet that produce this type of gold.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that piece, it's an ounce and a half of gold, but it's 35 grand, and it's just because of the crystal structure.
Absolutely.
And the backside of that one's just killer. The backside crystals, like those trigons that just bounce the light back at your eye.
We'll need the close-up to get that on camera, but yes, I see them in there. Look at me shaking. Gold does that to me.
It does it to me too, and I've been chasing it for 49 years. 11 years old when I panned my first pan of gold.
Those are amazing triangles. What'd you call that?
Trigons.
Trigons.
They're a hoppered trigon, and hoppering means bismuth is a crystal that hoppers. You can see the step sides.
Goes inwards.
And on those triangles there, you can see that they're stepped down, like that. It's not a triangular flat face.
Yep.
It goes down into the center of it, and that's what collectors look for. Is the trigons are super rare when they're that lustrous.
One day the blue chip mine is going to find something like this for me. It might be microscopic, might be 0.5 millimeter across, but one day I'll find a real nice crystal there. Now this is more like the gold I might find in the blue chip, just because we're on a boxwork quartz. Very similar to the quartz we see at the blue chip mine. Not quite the same gold we see, that's for sure. Tell me about this piece there, Dave.
Okay, so this is a cool piece. We found a larger specimen that was encased in quartz, and we remove a lot of the quartz. Sometimes we just trim it off with a rock trimmer, and this piece we set it aside because you couldn't really see gold in it. And then one day I was bored and I figured, I'm gonna go back and check those pieces. So I went back and I checked this piece and I split it again, and that crystal popped out of the end. So it was inside, I couldn't even see it until I split it. And I've got a TikTok video on this piece particularly. Just wound up being a really great piece that was, like, we call it it's like a what do I call it? It was a bonus piece. That was what it was.
A bonus piece.
Yeah, so it was a bonus piece on a larger piece. Wound up being a really great crystal inside.
Nice.
The other thing that's really cool is a lot of people don't understand that gold isn't melted when it's formed. This came up in some superheated hydrothermal solutions that had the gold dissolved, and then as the quartz started to crack and cool and create different chemistries inside the silicate solution, the gold actually forms very quickly when you get a pressure change. So you get a micro earthquake and it releases pressure just like a pressure cooker, boom, crystal forms. Just like bismuth. Bismuth crystals form in literally 3 or 4 seconds. And the theory is that gold does the same thing.
Now this piece here, Dave, is obviously, you know, had some of the host dissolved off. When you find these pieces, they do not look like this.
They don't look like this at all. In fact, they're muddy and yucky. Sometimes you can't see the gold. Sometimes they have black on them. You don't think that you have gold, but the metal detector, of course, tells you do. So we found a piece on March 4th, 2020. We called it the Moose, and it was 578 grams when we found it, and it looked nothing like the finished piece, but this piece was on the bottom half of that and it broke off, which is what happens when you have geological changes. Like, geology will move rocks back and forth, pieces moving, and so this piece had broken off, and then I removed the quartz and then we water gunned the gold to make it that bright.
And Dave, there's all sorts of different acids and chemicals that you use for dealing with the host material. I know quartz is a very tough one to dissolve, but you have a special acid for doing that.
We do. I don't like talking about it just simply because of how dangerous it is. It is one of the most dangerous acids out there. I'll let people Google it themselves. It's well known. It dissolves silicates, it dissolves glass, and it was also featured in Breaking Bad, so there's all your clues.
There's your clues. But the calcites and the irons, those are easy to dissolve.
Yeah, irons, you can use iron out that you buy at any Walmart or any hardware store. You can just use that. It will dissolve rust and iron. And then calcite, I use 30% vinegar. It's an industrial grade vinegar. And then, of course, with the quartz, there's really nothing that will touch it. I use hydrothermal shock, which is basically a welding torch. I just heat up the quartz, stay away from the gold, quench it in water. It'll shatter the quartz and leaves the gold alone. And then we use high pressure water guns, or about 3,000 psi, to remove any of the pieces that are left on. And then if there's any fine tuning, I do use that really high strength acid. You know, I just want to say categorically, if you don't know how to use these acids and you don't have the safety equipment, you don't have a fume hood, don't play with it.
Don't do it. Especially the one that we won't mention here, because it is literally deadly. One drop on your skin can kill you.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about that, because I did get one drop on my fingernail one time. I took my glove off or something, and I did notice there was a drop on my fingernail, and I thought it was just water. I didn't think anything of it. 2 o'clock that morning, I woke up, my fingernail was black and blue like I'd hit it with a hammer, and it felt like I hit it with a hammer, because what happens is this acid will actually attack your bones. You don't feel it touch your skin. It doesn't do anything to your skin. But when it starts attacking the calcium in your bone, you know it. And it's not something you want to have happen.
No. And this one's known as the
seahorse.
The seahorse, for an obvious reason. There's the head.
Yep. And that one was completely encased in quartz. You couldn't see any of the gold. The pinpointer let me know there was gold in there, and then that was what I wound up etching it down to look like that.
And I see a face in there too. There's a little face on it. See it right in the middle?
I actually do. I've never seen that. It looks like a little skull, actually.
It looks like an alien face.
That is badass. I think I better put the price up on that sucker.
There we go. Oh, just a second. Dave, you said you had some special pieces hidden behind for me.
I do. I've got one piece that's in my private collection. It's my personal collection. My personal collection, it consists of exactly one piece.
One piece? Okay.
Yeah, everything else is...
Why don't you bring them out in order of, you know, leave the best for last.
Okay, I'll do that. So this is one of the pieces that we were talking about using 30% vinegar to remove rock. This one has calcite on it. It was completely encased in calcite. And I started working on this one 3 weeks ago. I'm going to take the price tag off so you can get a better view of the calcite. And you'll see that we have calcite. It's kind of the whiter color. And then you'll see the darker little shards of quartz crystals that were also mixed in with the calcite. And so I left that on there. A lot of collectors want to see the host rock that it came on, but you'll see it's big leafy gold.
So when you were soaking this, you left that part just out of the acid so it stayed natural?
What I actually do, yeah, I use paraffin wax, and I melt paraffin wax, and then I'll put it on the places that I don't want the vinegar to go to work on, and it's called masking it. So then what happens is I just put the whole thing in vinegar, and let the vinegar go to work. It dissolves the calcite. You pull it out, and then you put this in boiling water to remove the wax, and you're left with a beautiful piece of gold behind.
Beauty.
Yep, and you see a little bit of discoloration on there. I could get rid of it, but I didn't want to on this piece. Sometimes the collectors also want to see the natural patina rather than the bright finish.
And that'd be a little bit of iron that was staining the surface of those little spots.
Yep. And that's because when the solutions come up from underground, they don't only have gold in them, they have silver in them, they have iron, they have copper, and that's why people always say, well, is it 24 karat? There's no such thing as 24 karat gold in nature except the Brazilian crystals. Those are the only ones.
Right.
But everything else does have some other alloying metal with it, and it's because of what Mother Nature does from way deep down.
Well, let's get the close-up on that and see some of those flat plates in there.
Yeah, and you want to definitely focus on this area here where you got these little trigons on the surface. You can see them close up.
There's one of your quartz crystals still left in behind, in amongst the plates.
And you can see there, you can see some small little crystals on the surface of the gold itself. So when those leaves form, they do actually have little high relief crystals that grow on the flat plate. I just love doing close-up videos of gold like that. I'll do the same thing. I'll use my camera and I'll just zoom in on it, and it's like doing a flyover of the Grand Canyon, but this time the Grand Canyon is made of gold. I just always imagine flying over the Grand Canyon when I do this kind of thing.
And we have the next.
So I've got a bunch of videos on my TikTok channel showing me prep this thing. When I first got it, you could see maybe 1 or 2 little crystals on the top. You didn't see everything that's down inside. And then I didn't quite get it finished for this show. I know there's a little bit more gold here. I do have x-rays of this piece. So I x-ray a piece to find out where the crystals are so that when I'm working on it, I don't have them fall off. And there is still a little bit more gold under here that I'll probably expose.
This is going to look epic with the close-up.
Yeah, this thing will be
especially the other side.
Amazing flyover. Like this thing is just, look at that, like from an angle. I always like doing an end shot.
Yep, we will get a good shot of that.
The ridge.
Okay, Dave, I can tell from the smile on your face you're proud of this one.
Yeah, so, people always ask me, they were like, Dave, you've been doing this forever, 24 years online, and you've owned the Colorado quartz for 7 years, you must have the most amazing collection. And I really don't. My collection revolves because I sell gold. It's what I do. It's how I support operating the mine. We haven't found any gold for over 3 years in the gold mine, but there is one piece that I will never sell, and it's this piece here. I bought it from some guys that found it with metal detectors in California. I call it the Van Halen because it's the shape of the V in the Van Halen logo. And it's just such a cool piece of gold. It's just like, I haven't seen another one like it. And so this one is going to be the one that I don't regret selling because I'm not going to sell it. There's some pieces that I did find myself in the Colorado quartz mine that I wish I didn't have to sell, but to keep mining, you got to, pay the fuel bill.
Yep. Now, one point looks broken.
Got a little budget now.
Yep.
Is that broken and bent, or is that just the natural?
That's how it grew. It's not been reattached. That's just what, again, geology, the earth is always moving. So after this thing actually formed in the matrix, something moved and it just kind of bent that tip down. And I'm just leaving it as is. I've not done anything to it except expose the gold that was inside the rock.
Mother Earth makes the best artist.
Absolutely, nothing comparable.
As I've said with every other piece, amazing.
Yep.
And Dave, you are including some of these smaller pieces in some of your pay dirt. I say smaller. These are freaking huge compared to anything I ever find.
Yeah, not these ones particularly. I have some smaller ones that I do put in some crystallized pay dirt, but I only offer that once a year. It's very specialized and is very limited.
But you have a full range of pay dirts on your website, as well as you sell these gold nuggets on your site as well?
Absolutely, yep. I sell anywhere from a 1 gram bag all the way up to, I did sell a bucket for 25 grand. It had 12 ounces of gold in it, and with a 1.5 ounce nugget was the biggest nugget.
Nice. And I can vouch for Dave. He makes great pay dirt. I have tried some myself, and it's, you know, if for people that are worried that pay dirt's going to rip you off, Dave is not going to rip you off in his pay dirt. It is the real thing.
Well, not only that, but I offer a 100% money back guarantee. If you're not happy for any reason, you get a refund.
I'm not happy because I didn't get 10 ounces in my $50 bag, huh?
Oh my God, I'll refund you the 50 bucks.
Here's a piece that shows you the prepping process. This is sort of halfway etched, and the block of white underneath it is the paraffin wax, protecting some of the host from being etched away, so that when he's done, he'll have a piece that shows you some host with the gold crystals all on top. And you said this was a 9-pound piece when you started?
Yep, I got it 3 weeks ago. A woman sent it to me to do the work on. I met her last week here in Tucson. She flew to see, you know, what it looked like now that I've been doing the work on it. She's probably going to wind up keeping it, but she'll know once I'm finished with it.
I'm sitting here on Dave's tailgate, and he's just pulling out piece after piece after piece and saying, you gotta film this, you gotta film this. They're all so amazing. This is just a piece of wire gold that's, you know, half etched out here. This is one that you'll do more work on someday. And
oh yeah, for sure, yeah. That one needs quite a bit more work.
Okay, Dave, where is all this gold? Where is your mine at?
Do you know where San Diego is?
Yes.
Nowhere near there.
Go to San Diego, and you're not there. Yep.
The Colorado Quartz mine that Tony and I own. It's 18 miles from Yosemite. It's a very historical mine. It was known as the most famous mine in the world for crystallized gold way before we had it. We just wound up lucking out buying it, and that's where I'm going to retire.
That's amazing. I got to see it someday.
Yeah, you do have to come see it. I think at the end of March we should be pumped out. And you've got an open invite. Come on up. We'll get you certified for underground mining at our site specifically, and we'll go underground and we'll let you push the button on a particular piece of equipment we have that I think you'll love.
It goes kaboom?
It does go.
Go kaboom.
It goes kaboom.
I hope you enjoyed our video. If you did, please leave us that thumbs up. If I haven't earned your subscription already, I hope I earned your subscription today. And make sure you check out Dave from Gold Bay on YouTube.
And I'll tell you what, Dan, it's been a real pleasure. We've known each other for a long time online, and to see you and that you're as crazy as I am, because you got to be crazy doing this stuff. It just, you know, made my day.
Awesome. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.